Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. I am joined with, again, cranky Matt Dudley.
But let me fix that.
It's like I'm not sure about the reference, but okay.
That's a wrestling reference.
I repeat myself. I don't understand the reference. I'm still getting into the whole wrestling thing.
But in support of our English brethren.
I should be a High Inquisitor Doman of the Bacon Lands.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if England, because of this, turns the English flag into like a big piece of bacon across it? Yeah. or better yet, the ripples of the cross that they have on it is actually bacon, but colored. It's like, you're doing it wrong, England. You gotta do it right. Anyway, pretty hopefully short episode. I know I say that every single time, but I'm hoping it actually is true. So let's just jump into it, shall we? So Grum's covered Bandai Namco collapsing as usual because they're freaking annoying. I can't stand Bandai Namco. It says, stop trying to be politically correct and erasing lines, covering up costumes, and trying to appease a modern audience. Nobody wants this. So for those who aren't aware, because this is not a game that is probably well known, is the Tales of Xillia Remastered. And they said, some expressions were changed from the original work in consideration of ethics. In light of ethics, we have changed some expressions from the original work. That's a really weird thing to say twice. Bandai Namco. Now,
I read about this.
If it's something that has been changed, means that prior it was the original way. So you changing it now doesn't remove the fact that it exists in its prior state already.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's going to cancel you or be offended is already canceling you because you made the game to begin with. So why do anything?
Because by changing it, they're submitting to the will of those wanting to change.
Yes, but now they're going to be mocked for their change by everybody else.
Correct.
Like,
well, so that
it's by definition not a remaster anymore. It's a remake.
So there are two groups of people in this company that would push for this change.
Stupid and hideously stupid.
Well, I was going to say politically driven morons who want to change for that reason.
Activists,
you know, and then people who think that the money is to be made by making these changes. And as we have learned, the people who think the money is to be made still have not learned their lesson that money is not to be made.
See, I really want to get in the freaking gaming industry. If I could get in the gaming industry, I want there to be like a marketing counter to this, where like some video game company hires Sydney Sweeney to come in and just like completely wreck everything. Oh gosh, that'd be hilarious. But it's not a remaster, and they did this with the Oblivion thing, like with the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster. It's not a remaster; it's a remake because they actually changed specific things. They changed clothing outfits for at least one Khajiit woman because it had too much bosom or some nonsense. But the original had that, and it was still appropriate or whatever. But they also changed some character stuff, some visual stuff, more than just an update. And it's like, but you're not doing a remaster anymore. Now you're doing a blatant remake. You're doing the game, and you're keeping a good chunk of it, but you're also changing things. A remaster is literally mostly just visual updates, bug fixes, the basic stuff, but you don't touch the original game, original story. Unless there's something that's like massively broken in it, like somebody's dialogue thing was unsynced with the mouth moving or something like that. Like you'd have that be something in a remaster, because you're like, all I'm doing is making sure things fit the way it was intended to be originally, and they just didn't do it back then because it's Bethesda and they're freaking lazy sacks of potatoes. But at this point, it can't be a remaster. But how do you remaster this and leave the girl looking like this? That can't possibly be politically correct. She's got boobs. She's got a slender waist. She's appearing somewhat beach outfits. because she's got like the little wraparound thing they do or whatever. But
So is this what the remaster looks like?
well, it says Tales of Xillia Remastered, so I would
So what does she
imagine
look like before?
I'd have to go find out. Let me go find out.
I mean, we're just doing something with quality judgment. That's all we're really doing this for.
Okay, so images on PS3. If I could find a good picture, that would be helpful. Because this picture is accurate for what it's supposed to look like now. Okay, so let me let's go this, open new tab. All right, so this is what it looks like now, or the original. I guess that didn't actually make it bigger. There we go. So this is what she looks like.
No real change.
No, like her waist is more defined in the newer version. Her bust
they just
seems a little bit bigger.
They covered more. I think they did that to make her look older. I think that was the issue. Because she's clearly like 13 or 14 years old there.
This one could pass for like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
This one looks more like a 16, 17-year-old. But that's just Japanese art style. It's very like hit or miss on like, are they actually that old? Because like freaking Chad, is it Chad or Chaz, whatever, from Bleach? He's this monstrosity, like 7 foot tall dude, and he's like,
Shadow.
huh?
Shadow. I know. I tend to know him by the...
But no, but in the English Bleach, I think it's Chad, and he's a 7 foot giant. No, he's 14 years old. There's no freaking way he is 14 years old. And that's the thing is that you can literally attach any age to any character. For one, they're not real, but you can attach any age to them. You could say this guy right here, he's actually 600 years old. This girl's 17 billion years old. You could do literally anything because it's not real. And Crimson and I have had this conversation, and we agree that it's stupid to say, well, she looks young, therefore she must be 4 or 5 years old. It's stupid.
So it's a very... we're not going to get into the nuances of...
Well, like in some stories, this guy here,
No, what I mean is...
he's younger than a guy like this in some stories.
I'm going to drop a cleverly worded but vague statement right now.
That's great.
Is a complex psychological issue, the issue of human sexuality and the age at which people become not children. You know what I mean? So we can't get into that topic. Well, okay. I'll give an example that can't be construed as bad. Let's say you're at the beach and there's 100 women in bikinis playing beach volleyball, and they range from the age of 15 to the age of 65. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because they're playing beach volleyball, they're all in shape, right? And you're
not narrowly, but I get your point. Yeah.
And you're watching them all. Your male brain cannot tell the difference between the 17-year-old and the 30-year-old at a glance. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, especially now, where freaking like 13-year-olds look like they're 25.
No.
Doesn't help, I know. I'm saying that the younger generations, like the generation I grew up in, you couldn't tell a 13-year-old from a 25-year-old because they both had huge boobs. They both were the same height. Like it's so just you couldn't tell the difference. And then it's just like, well, they're dangerous to date people.
Circling back to anime, I personally find lollies a little creepy.
But what's a lolly?
Well, that's the question we get. Right?
That's what Crimson and I have talked about, and it's like we agree that you can't, like, people think a lolly is a prepubescent child. That's not what a lolly is.
No,
that's a prepubescent child. There's a very big difference. A lolly is someone who looks young but is not young. That's what a lolly is.
Yeah.
But they don't look like a prepubescent child. They look like a 12, 13-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it's a complicated issue.
I mean, it's complicated, but it's not that complicated if you know what you're talking about. The problem is nobody knows what they're talking about, which makes it very complicated.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to explain to somebody, no. But even if that was the case, this is not a lolly in any shape or form. Lollies don't have boobs, typically speaking.
Yeah.
they're typically flat chested on average. So this is not a lolly. So trying to adjust this makes no point. She's wearing a bodysuit underneath. There's nothing here to censor except this. Nothing here.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude. And they're all covered up dudes. Old dude. Possibly a dude that's an elf, or it's a female elf that you can't tell. That's because in the background. Dude who's completely covered up. Little girl who's covered up for all intents and purposes. This is the only thing you could censor. And that's not what they're allegedly censoring. Because again, going back to this, her boobs got bigger. Her waist got smaller. What are you censoring?
I don't know. I mean, I think their censorship change here is less about.
Well, they say expressions. I don't know if they mean like a facial expression. I don't know if they
Wait,
mean.
didn't this article have a list of what they changed though?
This is an article.
There's a link on what? Isn't there a chain? Like, wasn't there a sub posting?
No. This.
Click on the original post, Rums.
This is the original post.
Oh, I thought that I must have read something about this where they listed the changes.
I mean, maybe it's Bandai Namco. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when one of my all-time favorite animes is Tenchi Muyo, and like Wazoo is 150 billion years old, but she looks like she's 15. You know?
Yeah.
Ayaka and
well, and again,
Tsunami
that's
are
15 from your perspective. From my perspective, she might be 25.
Well, no, she physically chose a 15-year-old form. She says so at one point. You know.
Well, yes, but that's because whoever wrote it made her that way. That's not necessarily what she looks like. Because you could say, I picked a 15-year-old body. Doesn't mean it's an actual 15-year-old body. It's her perception of a 15. It's the unreliable narrator thing.
Tsunami, who looks like a 12-year-old, is really 160 billion years old. Yeah. And you know, who was the third one? Wazoo. Now I'm trying to remember attention when I'm watching years. Wazoo, the three goddesses. Wazoo, Tsunami, and who was the third goddess? I can't remember right now. Anyway, it's just the first two seasons of Tenchi Muyo were gold. You know, gold. But that's the thing. Like, I don't obsess over a 12-year-old character. Like, you know what I mean? I find it. I note it and move on. You know.
Okay, like, so this is what allegedly the interwebs says. The primary change involves the pipe attachment, which has been altered to a beard attachment, likely to avoid depicting an underage character, Jude, who is 15, smoking. Well, but if in that world it's legal to smoke, then it's legal to... Oh my gosh. That's how fiction works! You're adapting to the world in which it takes place in, not the world that's observing that. That's... Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the European version, so this is explicitly the European version of Bandai Namco, explicitly states that the changes were made in consideration of ethics.
Oh, well, in Europe is enforcing that shit now. Just like Europe, if you log into YouTube in Europe, you have to put your ID in now and all that shit. You know?
Well, the problem is that making any change when the prior was not a problem, that's when I have a problem with it. So I found...
Well, no. It was a problem to a group of people who have an agenda. It was not a problem for the majority.
I know, but what I'm saying is that it wasn't a problem back then when they made it, and now it's all of a sudden a problem to at least somebody. So
no, I mean, I'm not trying to pick an argument, but it's always like back then the fundies had a problem with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those people. So here we go. Bounding into comments. Tales of Xillia Remastered censors original game's content, quote unquote, to better reflect present day standards. Bandai Namco has announced Tales of Xillia Remastered with a plethora of new features and censorship. Declaring some expressions had to be changed in consideration of ethics, it seems the censorship of Japanese games with the anime art style continues, despite recent rejections of woke in media due to unprofitability, except we may already know what is censored. Boasting numerous quality of life improvements, enhanced graphics, and over 40 pieces of DLC from the original game. Why are there 40 pieces of DLC at all? That should just be in the game. Tales of Xillia Remastered is Bandai Namco's way of celebrating the series' 30th anniversary. 30th? Did they just remaster it for PS3 then? Because PS3 is not 30 years ago. 30 years ago. This came out early 90s, if that's the case. 95.
This is an old game.
Well, it would have come out in like 95 or something. But The game was on PS3, so is that a remaster?
That might have been a re-release.
Oh, possibly.
But I remember this game a long time ago.
One detail, however, was almost overlooked. Almost. On both the American and European Bandai Namco websites, a news post detailed what was new to the remaster. At the very bottom, the Europeans' post final headline declares some expressions were changed from the original work in consideration of ethics. Now, you can even see from this image, she's got boobs. She's got a very slender, like really slender waist.
Okay, so I just checked. So this is part of the Tales series of games. The Tales series of games started in the 1990s. This particular iteration came out for the PS3 in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't elaborate much more, adding, in light of ethics, we have changed some expressions from the original work, WW correspondence. We assume WW means worldwide. The US version is even more curt. Some expressions have been updated, some expressions have been adjusted from the original work to better reflect present-day standards. As no two nations share the same values or ethics, and publishers using similar excuses before, from PlayStation's 2018 excuse of global standards to the most recent ethics department of Square Enix, most players typically don't believe in such rationale, when they shouldn't. Usually it's taken as trying to avoid outcry from the more Puritan gaming press. There is no such thing. Or avoid higher age ratings from the Western rating boards. Who cares if it's a higher rating? People will still buy it and play it. Like, that's what I don't get. It's like people put so much stock in, well, if we make our movie PG-13, or like where it's supposed to be PG-13 to now rated R, no one will come see it. I'm like, but why wouldn't they come see it? Well, the rating. I'm like, no one cares about the rating. People are interested in the trailer. They're interested in the content. And they might wait for a person to say, is there any bad content in this that we can't take our kids to or whatever? People were taking their kids to see Deadpool. No one cares about the rating system. I would argue people don't care about ethics in general, but that's a different story. However, there's a chance we already know it was censored. In the international version of the original Tales of Xillia, a character flipping the bird, that's not flipping the bird. That's a shush, but okay. Flipping the bird during the main story was changed to them pointing. But calling the Japanese version the original to Western audiences doesn't sit quite right. I mean, if it's accurate, it's accurate. The list of new features of the Tales of Xillia Remastered Japanese website actually shows what has changed. Machine translated by Deep L, whatever that is. I'm assuming AI translation or machine translation.
Deep learning.
Sure. Once again, there's a section titled Some Expressions Have been changed from the original version, but that explains the attachment item pipe has been changed to beard. So this, where it's a mustache and has a pipe, is now just a beard.
Mm.
Do people not understand that if you are using an adult's mustache, you're incognito? And if you're incognito and you add a pipe, it quote-unquote adds more authenticity to the incognito adult-looking thing that you're trying to, like, appear as. You're trying to appear like you're an adult and you're, whatever. So taking away the pipe literally defeats the story, but that's part of the story. He's not actually smoking. But they're like, well, we don't want to be seen as, promoting smoking. Then you don't want to be seen as promoting as what is considered an adult in the game, because that's what this presumes that the characters in this game that are adults would do, or at least some of them. Is it because it's an underage kid? Well, you could easily just change his age. He's not 15 anymore. He's 25. No one's going to notice the difference. Attachments are cosmetic players that can attach the characters with some flexibility in adjusting their size and position. The character Jude Mathis, shown in the comparison image on the website, is 15. It seems the censorship was done to avoid any claim of underage character smoking. Well, it's a claim until it's proven otherwise, and if he's not actually smoking, your claim is false. And that this change is coming to the Japanese version as well. The Japanese website or webpage also notes minor adjustments have been made to the descriptions of some other items as typos or omissions of their own category. Maybe the beard attachment has its description changed to reflect how it now appears in other items that suggest actions inappropriate to those underage. I mean, people have been smoking underage since freaking what, the 60s?
Well, no, people have been smoking. The concept of underage smoking is a modern invention.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. 60s, like, we had kids smoking all freaking throughout the 80s, possibly the 90s.
80s, 90s, you will find historical records of people 10, 12 years old smoking thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
It was considered cultural.
Although I would argue they probably had better smoke back then.
Well, what happened is everything we smoke now is so much more like concentrated and potent. It's hyper harmful.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I
Well, that's
mean?
what I'm saying. Is they're smoking more natural stuff. We're not having that kind of smoking
Yeah,
stuff available.
yeah.
But as an aside, the beard attachment is just a mustache. Yeah, and it's just a pipe. It's not even to have smoke coming out of it. Ironically, it may be possible that this will be adjusted in the English localization. It also stands to reason that if Bandai Namco believes certain content of the original is unethical, they're not going to show it on their website while promoting the remaster. The notion they'd be oblivious to how censorship is loathed is almost laughable, which may mean they're avoiding showing off any other censorship for as long as possible. Then again, the Japanese website Q&A asks, are there any elements added or removed from the original versions? Their reply lists removed elements as none. This doesn't include the alternation to the pipe, and under added elements, it notes the game contains many DLCs from the original version. However, some DLC is not included. The European Post elaborated, specifying some licensed DLCs are not included, likely due to said licenses and permissions expiring. I hate the idea that a license can expire in terms of the creation cannot be created anymore after the license covers that thing being created. Just makes no sense, but whatever. The Tales of series has seen censorship in the West, though not consistently. Some games have covered up graphic violence. It's a rated T game, but it can't be that graphic. Implications of prostitution, homosexuality, molestation, and even gender pronouns and terms. That sounds kind of new, because why would the West censor that? Japanese wouldn't, that I can think of. Yet character designs and outfits have typically avoided censorship to the point producers have been even emphasized when they wouldn't be in Tales of Berseria and Tales of... Oh, it's one of those games. I know those games. Tales of Berseria and Tales of Arise I have heard of. Specifically of Berseria. I don't even have it. I don't know. I have to check. The Japanese website for Xillia Remaster shows the swimsuit made and other Tales of character costumes and DLC will be included. As for what will
Yeah,
be...
like I said, I mean, I remembered I must have played this series back in the 90s, early 2000s.
I'll have to check later to see if... Well, actually, I can check it on my phone. They have this one character apparently called Pressa, and it's this girl here. And she has a skin-tight outfit, exposed cleavage that goes past her belly button. Oh no. That can be deemed excessively lewd to some, and far more conservative designs have been censored in other games. Nonetheless, what we can see of her shrouded in darkness in the announcement trailer, she appears uncensored, albeit in an animation which appears in the original game's intro. Well, let me check my library. I have the Tales of the Monkey Island. So it appears I do not have the game. Okay. I thought I might, but I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's a whole big nothing burger. I mean, I can't imagine many kids that don't understand the concept of fake smoking because they're like a fake pipe with a fake mustache on a kid that's clearly not an adult with a mustache or a pipe. They're not going to be playing this game because it's going to be too complicated for them. If you can't play a game this complicated, and I say this complicated from the perspective of a kid, you're not going to be playing this game.
If the lefties can't tolerate the fact that this stuff is in those games because it defies their worldview.
I wouldn't say the lefties. It could be just idiots, which
No,
I mean that does cross over in the Venn diagram, but that's not the point. Let's see. Now the other topic. Oof. I can just do this real quick. Why is everything popping up on my screen?
It's gonna explode! Run! Take cover!
My camera is so stupid. Come on. Oh no.
Well, since I am the only one here,
I mean, they can still hear me, but
I will keep you entertained by making canned animals.
I want StreamYards to stop dicking off.
The hawk.
That's a reverse beak. Good sir. Are you now doing Naruto? That's why it's doing what it's doing.
The dragon.
That looks more like a Venus flytrap, but okay.
That's about the extent of my hand animal technique. Well, I can do forest. I can do Naruto Ninja style.
That's what I was saying. Are you doing Naruto?
I don't know if I'm still alive or not. But
I'm getting there.
hopefully
You
my friend
you
will
are
be back
alive.
soon.
Can you not hear me?
So on the topic we were talking about,
Oh,
which is
you can't
censorship,
hear me. Aha, that's fine.
it really sucks that like every generation has censorship. Um, like every 10 years, some new group of people adopt the idea of censorship as a form of maintaining their power. And when I was a kid in the 80s, it was the right wing fundamentalist slash Bible thumper slash religious right. And then they teamed up with the group on the left, you know. So,
I'm back.
what,
I
were
just
we still
realized you
streaming?
couldn't hear me. Yes, I realized you couldn't hear me. I'm talking to you the whole time. Like, they can still hear me, but they can't hear you. Or
Yeah.
they can hear you and they can hear me, but you can't hear me. And I just realized that. So sorry about that.
I briefly entertained them with hand animals.
Yeah,
Like the
I was
Mighty
watching the
Hawk.
whole thing.
And then went to the topic of censorship by the ages. You know,
Well, the next topic is something I particularly.
it was a topic so powerful it knocked them off the air.
Well, no, it just keeps switching over to my Elgato because reasons. Like if I turn my camera off, so I go off screen, it shifts to a different camera for some freaking weird reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we are. Blood of Dawnwalker. Fun topic. I actually am looking forward to this game. I also want to play this game, The Fate of the Fellowship, but that's a different story. So the Blood of Dawnwalker isn't that big, allegedly, because its small team with Witcher 3 vets would rather prioritize excuse me, layers and didn't want to make an open world for like 400 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm hoping it's because they just don't have a team big enough to do it to 400 hours and still be a good game. That if this takes off and they make a ton of money, that they do move in that direction, kind of like how Witcher 1 was not really open world, and Witcher 2 really wasn't open world, but Witcher 3 was. Like, eventually, after it gets enough steam behind it, but because Witcher 3 is really well known, and the guys who are from Witcher 3, the game that's really well known, are making a game that looks really eerily similar in terms of quality and localization, I guess. Because it looks really, really good, maybe it'll just boom immediately, just absolutely just take off, and the ratings just go up and just explode.
I don't know.
That's the idea, anyway. I think possibly, maybe.
I'm happy that they're targeting a definitive storyline. There's a whole idea of just let's go open world to begin with, and you know,
it reminds me of the original Assassin's Creed, the way they're describing it. It's technically an open world because you can go pretty much anywhere in the area, but it's not open world to the extent of like it's Skyrim where you just walk for hours in every direction. But the video I covered, I don't know, were you there when I covered it? I think you might have been there. I don't remember if I made it by myself or I made it for everybody or whatever. I think I was there for the actual. It was probably just me by myself because I was there for the direct for it, and you can go everywhere. You can climb on buildings. You can go into buildings. You can run across rooftops. You can like there's lots. Like you can go all sorts of places, and some places you can only get there with use of your powers and stuff. But like you could walk outside of the town, and there's forests on the outside of the town. You could walk around, which is very similar to I believe it was Damascus in Assassin's Creed 1, and you had all of Damascus, but you couldn't just like wander beyond the borders extensively far.
Yeah.
And they limited it that way, but it was still technically an open world because you could kind of go anywhere. It wasn't like pre-made hallways that you had to like walk around like Fable or any Witcher 1 or 2. So it's not open world necessarily in the same way as Witcher 3 is, but it is.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. I'm glad they concentrated on one definitive storyline, and
rather than all a bunch of side ops.
Yeah, you know. Now, if what they do is take, like, so they could do several different ways. Like they could. So for World of Warcraft wasn't always open world. The basically there was the quest hubs and you could physically travel like overland to other quest hubs, but there was nothing random in between. You know,
Yeah.
um,
It was like a
eventually
portal.
eventually they realized players like exploring and doing things, so they started parking
Imagine
content
that. Players like to explore.
all over the place, like capturing pets and mounts, doing rare achievements and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of the open world, where there's a huge world full of things to do, and you don't necessarily have to follow a main storyline. So, but they're starting brand new with a new franchise, and it's
With a
better to
small
do,
team,
yeah.
specifically. It's a very small team.
Well, better to do what they're doing now. If it makes money, maybe they can make a
Maybe they can afford to have a larger team and they could make a larger place much more efficiently. I'm totally on board
well.
with that.
There's a whole
I'm
server
not
stuff.
against it being small. I mean, obviously I like open world games. I
Yeah.
like being able to go places. I like to be able to do whatever I want. Um I'm hoping this takes off. I think it will because it looks freaking sick. But it's going to be about 40 hours to complete on a normal
Yeah.
playthrough. But look at that graphics. That's like in-game, yo.
That looks like Stephen Amell.
I don't know who that is.
He played Arrow in the Arrow show.
Oh, no, he doesn't look like that to me. You mean Green Arrow in Arrow?
But he wasn't always Green Arrow. He was just the Arrow in the first season. Then the Arrow died, and he became Green Arrow.
Oh, wait, so he's the second one?
So in the first season, the Arrow was like a term, like the Punisher. He was killing people left and right, and the moral conscience of the show, they deserved it, right? But at the end of the season,
They
they
always
did
deserve it.
well, at the end of the first season, they did like audience sampling or whatever. They realized, well, they like the show. They don't think Arrow is acting like the Green Arrow, who is more of a Batman style, like take you to jail character
He's not
than the
ethical like
Punisher.
the character's supposed to be, as they
No,
want him
no,
to be more
no.
unethical.
He was killing way too many people. Just way too
He's
much.
not killing enough. There's always
You
more
know,
bad guys.
like he even so what they did was, um, well, the thing is, the show is becoming ensemble, like with other superheroes, and he was going to be allied with the police. So they had to sort of hand wave away all the kills. So the Arrow died, and Oliver emerged as the Green Arrow afterwards. So he could
Oh, so it's
become
the same actor. He just killed off his first
his Punisher
character.
persona. Yeah,
Yeah, his
yeah,
persona. That's the word. I prefer
yeah.
his Punisher persona, but that's just me.
Well,
Um,
but it wouldn't have worked for the show becoming the sort of working with the police and ensemble, that
I
sort of thing.
mean, Punisher works with the police. He just doesn't work directly with the police.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
why is
anyway,
there
it
a
was
bunch of corpses of bad mafia dudes on our
actually,
front doorstep?
if you like
Punisher
wrestling,
logo. Oh, makes sense.
Stephen Amell was a big wrestling fan, and he's the greatest celebrity wrestler of all time. Um, he did a TV show called Heels. It ran for 2 seasons.
Oh no.
Do I have it? Yeah, I do have it
Is it an actual
still.
TV show, or is this one of those like reality shows where he follows him around and does stuff?
No, he played. His family was running a. He played cat. They played characters. His family ran a small wrestling federation, and famous pro wrestlers will guest star in there. Um, and like, but it was very true to what small town wrestling was like. You know.
A bit more rough.
Well, it's they're family businesses, and
Welcome to the family business.
Yeah.
But the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to be pretty reasonable length compared to today's other open world. I would not call 40 hours reasonable. That's unreasonable. 400 hours is still unreasonable. It needs to be like a 10,000 hour game. But I say 40 hours for the main story is reasonable, but all options like Witcher 3 did with just like having 600 plus hours of gameplay and things you could do and places you could go, that I think is great. I mean, Skyrim, I still have never actually beaten Skyrim's main storyline. But which includes some of the Witcher 3 veterans, are more interested in making the game dense rather than long. I think it's good to have it dense. I think it just should be dense and long, not just one or the other. And it's better to be dense than just long, because a long game can get really boring. But a dense game can also get too much if you don't have a proper, other things, opportunities to do stuff. Like these are the kind of games where if you added in something where like you could go to a small village and you could take this like single hovel village and turn it into like a whole village, and it's got a blacksmith, it's got a market, it's got, you know, a general
The
store.
beginning of your criminal empire.
Basically, yeah, not even a joke, but like you could even make it legitimate. Like you could say you could have a one in the shadows. You could do like the more I have options to do, the more I'm going to live in that game. The bigger that
Yeah,
game's going to be, and when I hear about a sequel that says, "Oh, we have all that and more," the
oh
more I'm
yeah,
going to buy the snot out of it because
that's why.
I want things like Manor Lords to be in this kind of a thing where like Assassin's Creed, I can go all over this massive city and do a whole bunch of things like a Grand Theft Auto game, because that's what Assassin's Creed is basically Grand Theft Auto. But you're not committing crime for the sake of crime. You're committing quote unquote crime because the current regime is bad. Um, but if you can go around and you can build an entire village and you can like have basically a financial backing of villages all scattered around a city you're actually going into. They sell their produce there, so you have finances at all times. You can get better armor because you have all this stuff. Like working your way up to it is great. Kind of like in Fable, you could buy businesses and then you could make the profits from that business for your pocket, which means you can now go out and buy some. The economy in Fable was terrible. Like, I mean, you buy a freaking building for 56,000 and then you're making like 2,000 off of it a freaking every like 5 minutes. Like you have that place paid off in a really short time. Like it's not realistic in any shape or form. But the
Well, that's
idea,
another thing. When you have these games get big enough, you need to have like teams of economists and running your in-game economies
well,
and
I
to
mean,
make sure that
you need an algorithm. You don't need an actual team running it live at all times.
no, you need
Maybe
people
maybe for an
overseeing.
MMO, but I'm saying like even if you brought an economist in, he only needs to set up like here's how much money things cost, here's what things would value, blah 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 blah, and have it be balanced based on the game, and then just let it
Well,
run.
yeah, the computer's going to do most of the work,
Yeah,
but depending on the size of the game, you need a team of actual economists and business people.
sure.
The people, I mean,
I
before
mean,
Blizzard
Fable
started,
obviously didn't because it was all over the place.
well, before Blizzard started having a team to actually manage the in-game economy, if you understood how to exploit the auction house, man, you would make gold falling over yourself.
Well, I think auction houses need a reset every once in a while. Like they just need to be automatically reset because like in Guild Wars, there's so many items that are literally so like people are offering so little for them, they won't let you sell them for 2 copper. Which is funny. You have like 39,000 people saying, "I'll buy this from you for 2 copper," and people are like, "No, we're not even gonna let you buy it. You have to go buy it for what they're offering it for. They're offering the item for directly, and it could be like 4 copper, and you're like 2 to 4. Like
Well, there are a lot of like
there's not.
junk items in WoW that you'll
Well,
get
that's the
like
thing though is that
one copper
they
for or
made their
whatever.
drop rate so excessively high that it floods the market. And it's like it didn't need to be this high to begin with. You could easily have just reduced it. So instead of getting a drop every 5 monsters, you're getting a drop every 100 monsters. But it could be a useful drop because you're gonna kill 600 guys in like a half an hour. It's not like it's not like you're gonna have a shortage of drops. It's just you want the drops to retain value, and you need a scarcity. There is no scarcity in Guild Wars 2, except for the either the gem store drops or things like that are really really expensive or rare, really really rare. They sell for 3,000 to 6,000
Well,
gold.
the mistake Blizzard made was, see, it used to be every time a new expansion came out, you had different raw materials for your professions, right?
There's
And
Guild Wars has so many materials. They have an
yeah,
amazing crafting system. It's just the it's the thing is like they do like a copper ore uh mining whatever it's called. And that mining thing is oh shoot, I should probably check see if my wife texted me. The what now? Oh. I think I know what she was saying. She just said it horribly. In other words, she didn't spell it right. My bad. Goodness. And the kids home with the wife. So, but like you'd have this. Oh, node's the word I was looking for. You have a copper ore node, right? But every character can come in there and mine that node. Every single player. So with every single player doing that, you eventually have so much copper ore that's on the market, that's being used to build stuff, people could sell, people could buy, whatever the case might be, that it would come back. Like the node would respawn if you switch maps. It would respawn if you came back 15 minutes later. It would respawn. It wasn't like there's a limited amongst the game, and I get it. It's because it's an MMO, but it's not the MMO that the first one was. Because in the first one, you were in instances, and if you were in an instance, you're the only one in that instance. Nobody else was there. So it was kind of necessary to do that. But this one, everyone's in the same zone up to a certain amount, like 150 people or whatever. And it's like, well, do you need that many? Like, couldn't you find a balance? Couldn't you be like, well, the merchants that you could be selling it to instead of players are just offering so little that there's just not much, and it's you have to make items with it, and then items that people actually want, and then blah 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 blah. Like, figure out some way for the market to correct itself. But games, they don't use economists and stuff like that. It doesn't appear to me anyway that they do so, and thus it can cause a lot of problems. But if you build a decent game like this, and then you put in a solid economic system, you're the one player. It's a single player game. It's not like you have a whole bunch of players running around to destroy the game's economy, so you can't really abuse it too much. Because let's say
I'm talking from multiplayer point of view.
Well, sure. But like in this game, if I go over and I kill a guard and he's got a purse full of like 150 gold coins or whatever the coin system is, I take that back to my farmstead or my town or whatever, and I buy, some stuff for the farm. And then, we get better equipment for the farm, and then the harvest comes around, we gather up the harvest, we sell the harvest, and now we have, 3,000 plus gold coins or whatever, and then I can use that to build another building or something in the hovel that brings in more markets, brings in more merchants and stuff, and then there's like a merchant system going through, and you have like a legitimate system. You could over time just slowly build up, and you could go into people's houses and take gold out of their chests, or pickpocket just the rich snotty priest dude that's actually like the bad guy or whatever. Like things you could do to gain money. You could do it by beating up thugs. You could do it by, getting rewards for doing bounties on monsters or something. Like if there's sightings around or something. Like there's ways you could go about it to make money legitimately or illegitimately, and then turn that into this big, massive empire. And then all players would be interested in that, but having it as an option increases the amount of people. Because, like, it's the same stupid argument I've heard with... Have you ever heard the argument for... single player games, like single player players hate games that have multiplayer? You know that thing?
I've heard of it. I don't know if it's true.
Well, there are people who hate everything multiplayer. And my answer to them is, what if it's a single player game with a multiplayer experience and even a PvP experience? But they're separated. They're not the same. Like, it's not like a single player game that people can force their way into it. Like in Elden Ring, if you turn off invaders and you don't have any other players, it's just you and the game, it's purely single player. But if you turn on, where you can have people come help you or something, or you have people invade in a PvP format, it's like, well, a game can have all those functions. Would you still buy it? They're like, no, because it's not single player. I'm like, it literally has single player. It's literally there. But because the other stuff's in addition to, you don't like it for some weird reason, but that can help sell the game more, which means you get more of those types of games that have that fun experience for single player. Like, to me, it makes logical sense. All games should have all modes. They should have co-op, they should have multiplayer, they should have PvP, they should have single player. Well, they should have all of them.
The whole programming team, we talked about that in the past.
Within basic reason. If it's something that's literally impossible because they don't know what they're freaking doing, then I guess that's okay. But like if you have Skyrim, making it peer-to-peer should not be that difficult to add in when you're starting the game. Like when you're beginning to create the game. Because they've been working on that freaking mod for forever, and I'm still waiting for that to finish. I want a Bannerlord mod, but I don't know when that's going to happen. But the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to be pretty reasonable length. Blah, 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 blah. Speaking of Games Radar Plus at Gamescom 2025, Rebel Wolves senior quest designer Patrick Kowski, whatever, said the upcoming vampiric romp isn't that big. It's dense, but we didn't want to make an open world for like 400 hours. Instead, a single average playthrough should take you, give or take, 40 hours to beat, which is, again, pretty reasonable. That means it's going to take me probably 120 hours because I do everything, which is how I play, but it sucks for streams because I can never finish the game then. See my Fable games. I had to like actively like, nope, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not valuable. Just go do this. I mean, I've already beaten them all anyway, so it doesn't matter. Compared to
Yeah, you have to read it. I don't say, like you said, compared to other open big worlds, it's not much. But thanks to that, we could go crazy with the actual content, quality over quantity, and help us keep it chill. I mean,
which is a very valuable thing for them to have. Now, if
it is better to leave that people wanting more than don't let them think they had too much.
Well, and the thing is if this sells as well as I think it will sell, because I think it will sell. If it sells as well as I think it will sell, they'll have plenty of money that they can turn around and throw it into the next project, and boom, they could have another a quote unquote second small team join in to make kind of a medium team, and then maybe make it slightly larger with the still keeping the quality, and just keep growing. So it's, if hypothetically, let's say, because I don't know the actual roots, but let's say hypothetically in this game they only have one major city. Well, maybe the next one they have 2. And the one after that, they have 4. And the one after that, 10. And it just slowly gets bigger because they have more people coming in and they can do more things with it. But, I mean, I would not complain if they turned this into a Witcher 3 size game, where it's just this massive game where you can go all sorts of places, hunt animals, fight monsters, whatever the case might be. That would be interesting and fun.
Yeah.
I would play the crap out of that. But I'm worried that they won't do that. But Vijalski also explained that meticulous pre-planning was really important to make a game this layered from the very beginning. You see, Blood of Dawnwalker has a 30-day or so time limit to complete the main quest, and you can also tackle any quest when the sun sets to show your more bloodthirsty side. That's something I'm not particularly fond of, because that gives off Majora's Mask thing, but Majora's Mask lets you go back in time. This doesn't let you go back in time. You can show your more bloodthirsty side, drastically altering how certain parts of the game play out. From an early point of production, we had a clear vision, and we had to, because to create the time progression system, for example, we had to have the entire game at an early stage. A skeleton of it, like the number of quests, how they interact with each other, and what we can do with them. I can kind of understand that. Thanks to that, we know the scope scaled back from a super huge open world and having the skeleton at escapes. I think I just said that.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I didn't. They just mentioned it twice. Just differently. Having the skeleton at early stage gave us the space to experiment and put those layers on and iterate. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be freaking
I'll be right back. My audio just died.
I can hear you. Okay. Ah! Did we hit that time? We haven't even hit that time yet. How dare he? But either way, I'm looking forward to that. Welcome back. I could hear you fine, so I don't know why you were saying that, but
No, it's my and let me just fix.
oh, you mean your audio died, like what you heard?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it should be your headphones, not anything else. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm also, this is just me, but I'm looking forward to the time period where we can modify the game itself on a disc or on a cartridge or whatever else, so we could like grab Skyrim for Nintendo Switch and just throw mods onto it.
Well, we're probably about 10 years, 15 years away from going up. Hey, ChatGPT, make me a fantasy game. Make me a fantasy game starring the Smurfs and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, they won't be able to because those are IP protected. But yes, you can say similar to, but you can't say those guys.
So you'll have like the Burfs and the Cosmopolitan Ninja Turtles.
They'd have the T, was it? The TNMT.
Yeah.
The Turtles Ninja Mutant Teenage.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. But I'm talking like if I go grab my Switch games, which I have about half of them here, let's say I go to, I don't know, I have the Japanese version of Dragon's Dogma, right?
Yeah.
You can't really see it, but
Well, I see it.
yeah, I was trying to get it clear. But let's say you do that, or I've got the Kingdom Come Deliverance Switch cartridge, or I have Skyrim, I have Zelda games, I got Metroid, I've got the Knights of the Old Republic, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
If I can take that, put it in this little device, something, I don't know, something like this. This is a USB hub, but let's say it had a cartridge slot in it or something. I
Yeah.
could, or I could hook my actual device up to it. I could hook it up to an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 or a Switch, and then I could just load up all of the mods and have it in the proper load order and everything. And then,
Mhm.
but it'd be on the cartridge. And then when I launch the game, it automatically just starts it in that form, with an option to, like, instead of, you can hit like the plus or the minus depending on what
Yeah.
system you're using, and you can pull up a settings thing before you click on the game and say, would you like to modify, or would you like to play vanilla, or would you want to play a certain mods list, and then you could take uncheck mods. There could be just in the mod list order, which is correct, and then you just take off the mods that wouldn't break it or anything, and then you can just keep playing with it.
Mhm.
That would be cool, because then you could take like the Knights of the Old Republic. I think it's one, it might be two. There's like an updated version of it that there's like a mod that just makes it so much better, but it's only on PC at the moment, because you can get the mod through the workshop or on Steam or something, or on a mod site. I want to be able to do that, but Nintendo will ban anybody who does that, because how dare you make a game more fun than them? It's stupid.
Yeah.
Gosh. Anyway, anything else you can think of, good sir, before we call this a good one?
No. I mean,
We're early,
we've
so
talked it through. Plus, I am running out. I am in my chair today. I am running out of time physically. So
well, I'm wanting to get food, and the wife got home with the kids, so maybe I can get food now.
yeah.
I held it off with a chocolate bar as long as I could. But yeah, Bacon Loving Matt, Unbearable 73. Check out his channel, Unbearable 73. And what do you do over there, Matt? And any events coming up?
Um.
Sell your channel, basically.
Sell my channel.
Not literally, but
Um. So I just dropped my my last video I put out was my previews for AEW's Forbidden Door pay per view, which is now done. So I'm gonna watch that 5 hour slugfest and maybe do a little analysis video on it. Hopefully up for the weekend. I did a Superman review about 2 weeks ago. I did some trailer reviews about over the last couple of weeks, so that's on my channel. Um,
did you call it Superman the Breeding? Is that what you call
I
your
just call
review?
uh,
Sounds like a horror film.
on Roman of the Empire's channel. This the Thursday before this airs, okay, we'll be reviewing Brightburn. Every Wednesday night, I'm on Wednesday night Overbooked. We talk about wrestling.
Is that the
On
evil the Samson Superman?
what?
The little kid, Brightburn, isn't that what it is?
Kind of, yeah.
It looks stupid.
It's like what happened to Superman or not raised as well or whatever, or
I mean, we all know, but if you don't have a way to stop him, you just might as well call it GG humanity. You're dead.
yeah. Well, for those who've never we know the story of Dragon Ball, right? Goku is sent to the Earth to destroy it, basically to level it so the Saiyans can
And then it
sell it
hits his
off.
head.
It hits his head and gets raised by the perfect guy that can teach him good morals, and then gets his tail cut off before it becomes an Otaru, basically. So the Brightburn is what happened if none of that happens. You know, like
I don't see the entertainment behind it, though.
well, see, the problem is there's a whole bunch of people out there who like making deconstruction superhero stuff, and very little of it's any good. You know,
Well, sure, but I'm saying, like, even like if you had like here's Superman gone evil, because that sounds like The Boys at this point, where like you have this guy who's like a egomaniac, psychopath, narcissist, whatever, and then you
yeah,
have Carl Urban and his band of jolly good fellows trying to stop him and his crew of cronies. It's like that's all it sounds like, but in this situation, you don't have anything but the bad guy. So how do you beat him?
yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Like
That's why I'm not a fan of
there's no even potential for a good ending. That's the problem.
I'm not a fan of Brightburn, basically for that reason. You know,
Like if you had
um,
if he had maybe a 1-to-1, or even somebody who's slightly less powerful but is smarter, and could outsmart him, like the Lex Luthor equivalent, but a good Lex Luthor,
Well,
then maybe it would be
the,
interesting, because then you're like, well, could he win? Could he lose? What's going to happen? But if you're just like, no, I'm just a bad guy, I'm going to just kill everybody, then it turns into Elfen Lied, and it just becomes pointless, because I'm going to kill everyone with my mind.
I
So
interpreted
what's
the
the point of
movie
this?
as we're about to get caught up in an alien war, and that the Brightburn kid was the first alien attack. Like they sent him to basically
They don't
conquer
need to
him.
attack. They have this one kid just do everything for them, because they can't stop him.
No, but there would be other aliens who could send a counter alien to that. That the
So you're
sequel is
saying
going to involve.
the Earth is just the battleground for all the other aliens coming to
Yes,
fight. Yeah, maybe
that's what I.
that could make sense. But if I don't see that in the first film, I don't have any desire to see it, because the second season, the second movie or whatever might not have that, and then it's just like, well, I wasted all that time.
I agree with you. That's why I don't like this movie.
Yeah, I've heard people like, it's great, it's fantastic. I'm like, it's just a horror film for the sake of horror with no actual plot, except this guy just kills everybody.
It's a horror film, but I'm not a big fan of superhero horror films like that. Some, yeah.
I don't mind superhero horror films, because typically they make a horror. I guess I don't know if there's very many superhero horror films, but the horror stories and stuff like that, because they usually have a counter to them. Somebody says, no, you're going overboard and you need to stop. Like, there's people who try to stop the Punisher. He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He doesn't go around mindlessly killing people. He doesn't just kill every single day. He doesn't have to do it to stay alive or anything. I mean, he might do it every day, but not.
You haven't read enough Punisher.
Well, that's what I think is, like, there's always bad guys, so the Punisher always has work. But it's not like if he's like, oh, it's 23 hours and 59 minutes, and I haven't killed somebody. This is bad. I'm gonna die if I don't do it. And then he just goes out and kills somebody just for the sake of killing. Like, no, he primes his. I'm not gonna say he primes his target, but like he finds a target, he hones it on them, he gathers intelligence, he prepares himself, and then he has a plan and goes in and executes the plan. That's what he does. He doesn't have to kill. He doesn't have to. That's the key word. Have to kill somebody every day. He can if he has just like things planted. Like, here's the path. I'm taking a vacation. This is my road trip, and everyone in these places, I have targets, and I'm going to get rid of those targets. Like, if I'm going to Gotham City, I'm taking out the Joker. I'm taking out Scarecrow. I'm taking out Two-Face. Like he knows who he's going to go do stuff, but he doesn't like on the way to those places, just like, I'm in this convenience store in the middle of nowhere, I'm going to kill the clerk because I just have the desire to kill somebody. That's not what he does. Yeah. So if he was bad, then having somebody counter him and trying to stop him would make it interesting.
Yeah, I get that. So anyway, we're reviewing that movie. And
I guess Let There Be Carnage is a perfect idea of that.
On my wrestling show this week, our big topic will be what happened with Rajai Jackson and Psycho Sid, whatever his name.
Who is
he? They're supposed to do a spot where Rajai Jackson's a legit mixed martial artist, right? And so he was doing a spot with the wrestlers where he was going to step in the ring and knock Sid out, basically. And for some reason, he went off on him, but Rampage slammed him to the ground and full force hit him like 22 times, sent him to the hospital. It basically wasn't pro wrestling. He legit tried to hurt the guy. And probably should be prosecuted. And no one really knows why. And so it's a big, anytime you get what's called
loose cannon?
No, there's a name for it. Anytime the work becomes a one-way shoot, which is the wrestling way to say it, it happens every couple of years in wrestling. It's always a big topic of discussion on the fans.
Interesting.
So that's what's like going on.
Okay, cool. For those of you who are familiar with us, you know who Crimson is, because I've literally just made a video with him last Friday specifically. It was ironically the longest video that week, besides my stream, which was 8 hours. That was a fun stream though. I finished platinuming Time Splitters 1, and this coming Tuesday, I will be doing Time Splitters 2 and seeing how far I can get. I probably won't be able to platinum it one day because it's a lot of content. But Crimson Law is a great channel if you're into anime, Japanese culture, understanding the inner workings of Twitter/X, all the nonsense that goes on there, the drama between YouTubers of that particular area, like Chibi Reviews and others. It's a good place for that. He also puts out videos. I think he put out a video last week for that I say last week based off of this video being out next week or the following week, I should say, on a Sunday. The prior Wednesday, he released a video about a cat anime and reinforcing why he hates cats. So check that video out or any of his other stuff if that's in your wheelhouse. But yeah, he's got fun stuff in that regard. And also check out the Background NPC. She is a fantastic YouTuber and a fantastic person. That's all I can tell. She's very soft-spoken. She's a sweetheart, and she makes great content. She has great lighting. Her content looks way more professional than mine. Way more professional than most people I know. I guess she's got a knack for it. But yeah, you check her out. She's gotten really, really big, so it's not like she needs my help to do so. I just want to be like, if you don't know about her, go check her out because I think you'll like her content. It's very cozy, very lo-fi-ish kind of content, but it's about lots of thoughtful topics. So check her out. Also, check out Meta PCs if you're in the world of searching for a desktop. I think they do laptops to some extent, but I think it's mostly desktop PCs. You can use code 199 to get a discount. It might still be active. I don't know. I haven't heard Geeks and Gamers do the code or anything in a while. But if they're still doing it, that should get you a code off. I am not sponsored by them in any shape or form, so no worries. I'm not getting paid. Also, check out Ayaka Mods and DEG Mods if you're looking for a site to get mods from without being censored, and like Nexus Mods, which is a trash site now, which is sad. But check out Ayaka Mods or DEG Mods. DEG Mods is also doing some other things that they're going in the long term for, possibly doing like a publisher kind of move where they can host developed games and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks great as an idea and a concept. I want to do something with it, but I don't have any skills that they're probably looking for. I'm mostly a creative person rather than a programmer, an artist, like that type of thing. But I am supporting them as much as I possibly can, which is not very much because I can't really do much. I can just kind of wait for them to put out news. But they're pretty freaking sweet. They're pretty cool people. But yeah, check out those places. And again, I am not sponsored by anybody. I'm not even sponsored by me because I can't afford it. But I still do this for fun. So my particular channel, this particular channel you are on right now, the channel that is the channel, The Questioners. Sundays, you'll get this as a video, this type of videos, usually with Matt, maybe occasionally Sage if he ever shows back up. Shows his stinking face again. And we'll do the Tolkien Society videos again because we still have like half of them to go. That's a Sunday type thing at noon, Central Standard Time. Tuesdays, I do a live stream. I changed it from 9 p.m. Central Standard Time to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time so I could play more. And so, yeah, come hang out there, hop into the chat, say hi, let's interact. I'd love to chat with you guys. Yeah, fun stuff like that. On Friday, I released a video, usually a much shorter video. It was not last time because I had a guest on and we talked about a topic really detailed, and we lost Matt. But we will cover the random objects of whatever is popped up on the interwebs of that time, depending on what happens in that time frame. And yeah, that comes out noon on Friday, Central Standard Time. But I'd love to see you guys on my Tuesday nights. Or if you'd like to, you can follow me on Twitter/X and come hang out there and enjoy my ridiculous posts or retweets or whatever the case might be. My interactions in general. But also on the Discord, you can join up and get some freaking hilarious memes or fun memes, if I do say so myself. You can drop your own delicious memes. You can come vote on what you'd like to see me play live on Tuesdays. See if there's any live streams coming up like my Tuesdays. Possibly if I do a just random casual stream. I'm just like, hey, I just want to play something like Hero Siege or whatever and just, shoot the breeze and talk with chat. Hey, let's do whatever. You can get that live stream list there. Any videos I post should also be released there, but sometimes it doesn't work like I'm trying to tell it to do. Also, if you're interested in like Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth, the fan remake of it, if you will, as it's abandonware, I have an installation guide for that. I did not make the mod. I'm just supporting the mod and the group that did it. And there's a link to the Discord where that originally was based on, if you want to join that as well. But I made a ridiculously detailed installation guide because I wanted everybody to be able to do it. Even if you struggled with instructions and whatnot, I still was like, hey, these are 3 fantastic games. I want you to be able to play. And if we get enough people to play, maybe we'll do a live stream of it and we'll just all play together and have a fun, good old time. And once Pilgrim gets his stinking computer, I'm looking at you, Pilgrim. I'm looking at you. Once you get your PC up and running, we're playing, and you're gonna like it. Well, I know he's gonna like it because he likes Lord of the Rings, but he's looking forward to it. He doesn't have a PC yet, but yes, he's gonna like it. So, yeah, that's all I can think of. There's other stuff in the Discord, just to chat about topics. I am active on Discord literally every day, but if no one mentions anything, then I'm not going to pop up and say hi or whatever. But if you mention something or call out to me or want to ask my opinion on something, I'll be more than happy to give it if it's worth giving. So, yeah, that's all I can think of. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Matt apparently had to leave early, so it's just me. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. And remember, my friends, walk in the light.